Whovian and a Nuvian walk into a TARDIS.
And explore every episode of the classic Doctor Who series.
Join me, podcaster John S. Drew.
And me, writer-editor Jim Beard, as we take apart each story starting from the very beginning in 1963.
And join us on our Facebook page and Twitter, where we continue the discussion with you with historical artifacts from British papers of the time. The Doctor's Beard podcast, released every Saturday around tea time on your favorite podcasting app.
And we'll see you in time and space.
You're listening to Doctor Who Gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Hello and welcome back to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck, a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times. This is JB in New Orleans.
And Sean in Austin.
And Lelon in California.
Yes, Lelon, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is we've just had a really hectic last half hour trying to get this show started here. In a few days, Skype will no longer exist, apparently. And we had all migrated over to Teams, and we were trying to get that to work. But for some reason, it only lets you meet for 60 minutes at a time with the free account. And B, there was no recording feature, which completely ruins why we even use Microsoft Teams to begin with for podcasting. So we might have to figure something out before the next episode. And I was in such a good mood before we started this because, we're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Disney Who.
I like that, Disney Who.
It's been a while since we've done podcasting, and I guess we should explain the missing elephant in the room here. Chris will not be joining us. He has had it with the new series. I don't know if he's going to change his mind now because I don't know. Guys, these last 2 episodes, they were pretty good.
I full-heartedly agree. I think Chris may have chosen the wrong time to back out of this show. I remain cautiously optimistic. I wasn't looking forward to recording this. I wasn't looking forward to watching the fucking things, especially after I watched the robot episode. I don't even remember the name of it. Revenge of the Robots? Robot Revolution.
Yeah.
There we go. And I was like, oh, so whatever. I've already forgotten about it. I tried rewatching some of it, but basically there's it's just like the same sort of like alien world with 2 different cultures on it that are warring with each other, and the Doctor and his companion come in there and fix it all up. We've seen it a million times. Have we seen it with robots? We have not, as Joe Bob Briggs would say. I just thought it was forgettable. It's going to go the way of like the Bells of St. John's and those other ones that no one remembers. But I'm going to put a gauntlet down. I'm going to say something slightly, I don't know, controversial, as if anyone cares. I think Lux is going to make my top 5 new Who's of all time.
Wow.
Even with that scene where he goes through the TV and meets his own fans.
Loved it.
Oh,
loved
shit.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, those are the only 3 people watching it still in the UK.
Were they in the UK? Oh, they were UK. That's right. Because they had American DVDs, it looked like.
Did they, though?
I think so. I'd have to look at it again, but loved it. Loved every minute of it. There wasn't a single time it crapped the bed or even, accidentally peed in the bed. Was it silly? Yes. Did it not make any sense? No, it didn't. A lot of times none of them do. But it was just done with such style that I didn't really mind at all. And then he follows it up with a sequel to one of the other stories in my top 5 Doctor Who stories of all time, Midnight, which I think I may have woken Tom up from the other room when I squeed when it was revealed that that's who the villain was.
Yeah.
My God. Great episode as well.
I think it's, and I mean, is it a worthy sequel? I think it's mostly a worthy sequel. All right, so I guess we've done a sort of a short recap of all 3, so let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of it all. So the robot revolution here. Okay. For whatever reason, I think Russell T. Davies and Moffat has been guilty of this as well. They always have to strike a silly-ass tone with the season opener. I mean, my God, that spaceship was straight out of Futurama.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, and first thing that bothered me, and this normally doesn't bother me if it's like a horror movie or a thriller or something like that. Did we really have to kill the cat?
Fuck you, RTD. Fuck you.
It was so tacky. It was just tacky.
Yeah.
He's doing it on purpose, I think, but the tonal mismatch between the goofy-looking robots and then killing this cat.
Well, we never saw the cat. We heard the cat, but we never saw the cat. I mean, that would have made it worse if we actually saw the cat.
It's interesting because when I watched it the second time, I remembered seeing the cat, but it was the Mandela effect. I saw something that wasn't actually there.
Are you sure it wasn't the Schrodinger effect?
Oh, very good.
Or the what is it? The Blinovich limitation effect.
Well, that's
They do why, not to be like that guy, but can we not get a name drop for that? Like they describe the exact thing that has already been used in Doctor Who, and you're not going to call it that. That's just weird. It's like RTD is so self-conscious about being picked on at the playground. I don't know. Like he knows what it is.
I don't know.
I don't know. That I don't usually go in for like those cheap things. But if it's a piece of like technobabble that Doctor Who coined, like I feel like we should be hitting that more often.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they're afraid they're going to mispronounce it. Like
Metabolus.
Yes.
Matt pronounced it. Yeah. There were other things that really bothered me. And again, this goes back to what I said. It could just be as silly and dumb, technobabbly and whatever. But when a story isn't good, that's when you think about shit like this. I can't help. How does an entire planet, which is not a star, by the way, that would be the sun. Right. How does anybody on this planet know that what's his name, Andy, 17 years ago, purchased in a novelty shop probably a piece of paper saying that Miss Belinda Chandra owns that planet? That's ridiculous. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Well, I mean, he got he actually had the certificate with the tear and everything. The whole thing was just kind of like, it was hard to follow. I could not follow the logic at all. I watched this twice, and it's just like, okay, they're just
you watched this twice? Like, well, I think this is the worst episode they've made of Doctor Who. Because it's not just
space babies. Come on, Lelon.
I'll tell you why. This isn't just terribly executed. There's a it's also bad politically. It has a bad message for Doctor Who. It's pretty rare for Doctor Who to ever have a bad message, but to also have a bad message in a terrible episode. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything off the top. Yeah, exactly. Kill the Moon is the other one, which would be up there, right? Bad message, bad episode.
Or Kerblam.
Kerblam. The writer of which we're getting next week, by the way. I just
God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. Kerblam and Praxeus. But no, I get it. But there's this pernicious myth that the reason that 80s nerd and geek culture was overwhelmingly male was because these prepubescent adolescent boys who were awkward around girls were actually secretly deeply misogynists. And that's the explanation. Not any general societal pressure, not the fact that like we excluded women from engineering and that has like carryover, like none of that, right? And this episode is just that message, which by the way, doesn't even make sense to you unless you've spent like so much time on social media that your brain has atrophied. Like if you tell a normal person, like how does this episode even read to a normal person? Who is this guy and why is he doing any of this? Like we see a shot of him walking along from like on the little platform from the rocket into the thing. And he's like, oh, it's a game, huh? I can win it. And then they plug him into the computer and then he shoots someone. I don't understand at all. I don't understand who this person is. It makes no sense. We're supposed to just believe he's terrible because
he's white and he's cis.
And he's into space. But no, that's not just that. It's that he's into space. He's like one of those toxic nerds or whatever. It's defamation. It's a defamation of a generation.
I agree. I mean, the line where she says planet of the incels is like, oh, fuck, you went there.
There's a difference between being political and doing a very special episode like they did in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like the after school, you know what I mean? Where the sitcom would just take a week off from being funny and talk about drugs. Like we
get like one flashback scene to it's like, okay, I want to marry you. Okay, now I want you to stop, wearing revealing clothing and all that. And
phones off at 7 or something crazy. Like
Jesus fuck. I mean, just kind of very shorthand, very lazy. I think RTD's trying to score points with the politically correct crowd. I honestly do. I think it's
maybe things are worse out. Maybe things are worse out there, but I just don't know. I can't identify with this at all because it's just it's just absurd. By the way, who is other than the doctor and the companion? Who is the most detailed character in this episode? Who's the third character here? They are the thinnest of caricatures.
It's the lady that died.
The lady that died.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
And by the way, the second she says, and then we can go into space together, I'm like, oh, you did. Like,
yeah.
I know the name of the actress who is getting on the TARDIS at the end of this episode, and it's not you.
Yeah.
And then thankfully they didn't draw that out. She gets, again, like, comedic timing on her death was very, very, like, intentionally trying to be funny, but it's like that person just died. I don't know if you want me to take this seriously or if it's a joke.
Yeah.
We're
not invested in the character at all. I mean, she and the doctor might have spent months together, but we don't give a fuck. We don't.
I'm going to say the worst thing you can say about this episode, which was about like the evil of generative AI. This felt like it could have been written by generative AI. If you had gave it all the scripts from New Who and say, okay, I need to introduce a new companion. I want to do a thing about generative AI as evil. Give me a script. I think it would look something close to this.
But it wasn't. I mean, if you're going to do generative AI as evil, then make it compelling. Actually, make it about generative. This wasn't generative AI. I mean, the guy was basically deep thought from the Hitchhiker's Guide.
I mean, that is the lesson of the week, kids, is that the generative AI is actually who's ever behind it because it will always serve their interests, which is cool. But all you did was show a guy plugging himself into a computer. I don't know him. I don't know what. I don't know. It just I don't even know what you're trying to tell me. It's awful.
And you can't take him seriously. You cannot take him seriously because my God, it's like the Tin Man. And it's a cross between the Tin Man and when Matt Smith was Mr. Clever in that really god-awful Cybermen episode penned by Neil Gaiman, who is, he's persona non grata now.
This is the season premiere. This isn't
a good to stop the ball. I mean, I think Space Babies was much worse.
But yeah, the only thing about it, I just find Space Babies like an inoffensive missed opportunity that maybe you still don't do. But you can look at this script and it's not going to be a good episode. Why are you putting it at number 1? Why is this number 1 when you've got the next 2? You have to know the next 2 are going to be good.
This is a great question, and all I can think is that the good ones were probably sitting on a shelf somewhere and were meant to be released under a different era of Doctor Who, like maybe the Capaldi era. I felt that about the Stephen Moffat story from last season. I'm like, this is too good for Stephen Moffat. Like, there's no riddle that isn't solved in the end. It doesn't go all J.J. Abramsy.
Yeah, I'm actually looking something up here. Okay, RTD initially conceptualized the idea as a one-off story and later reworked it into a series premiere to serve as a companion introduction. He says that it was a difficult episode to write because he struggled with turning a joke about a star naming into a full script. Well, okay, there you go.
I'm sorry, a joke about what?
The star, about naming a star.
Yeah. It is a funny idea. It is a
okay.
great Doctor Who idea, where it's like someone gives you those ridiculous framed things that says the star's named after you, and then via time travel, it becomes the foundation of this planet. Like, that's funny, right? And only Doctor Who can do that joke. But I don't know. Another writer could have cracked this. I don't believe that the idea is too hard for Doctor Who. Like, someone could have made a better version of this.
No,
just make the whole thing comedy. Like, just do a farce.
Exactly.
Do a farce where she comes in and she's got to be queen and she has no idea what she's doing, but she's got to keep up the act. Like, make it a full-blown comedy. And maybe a full-blown comedy can't be the season opener. I don't know. That would have been great. You got to get someone who can write comedy to do it. You can't, like, Russell T Davies can't do that one by himself, but like,
no,
that would be amazing.
If they can introduce a new Doctor with the fucking Goblin episode, they'll introduce a new companion or a series opening with something like this.
Yeah. So what do we think of the new companion? What do we think of Miss Belinda Chandra?
I think she's very strong. I'm very glad. We'll jump ahead. The other thing this episode did, and I'm not knocking this episode for it, but like, having the companion be at odds with the Doctor is very, very hard. And fans don't like it. Just instinctively, fans are like, whoa. I don't want to see them really fighting and not liking each other. And when she says to him at the end, she's like, do the right thing. I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? Like, I know you just got here, but like, we've been here 60 years. Like, do the right thing. How dare you? But okay. They immediately kind of resolve it the next episode, right?
And I think, I mean, she was very confrontational. You know, get me home. Very much like Tegan. But I think she gets caught up in the adventure a bit too quickly, because like by the second episode, they're like hugging and kissing each other by the hand. And
I mean, look, Russell T Davies wants to get there, and he's only got 8 episodes, so he's like, you're just going to have to believe this happened. At least in other seasons, they've deliberately added references to how much time it's been. Here it is back to back to back. Like someone today on Blue Sky was like, has she eaten yet? Like, when would she have had time to eat or take a shower in these?
Well, maybe, but in between, wardrobe changes, I don't know. Maybe she stopped by the food machine and got bacon and eggs.
I do love the template of them running into one hole and then coming out the other, and just like, okay, it's done.
But that's just like, okay, well, we did that. I mean, we did that in the Devil's Cord. It's going to be like watching Batman. We're going to see him go down the bat pole, jump into the Batmobile.
I mean, look, I think
Gotham City, 14 miles, and
there's definitely people who love this, and I'm fine with it. And I'm like, okay, fine, like, you can have it. I do like that they are not giving him a uniform, right? He gets to wear something different, but he also he still has a style. His doctor has
Sean's
a style.
OCD is going off now.
You want the uniform?
You know what? He looks good in 100% of what he wears, but it just drives me crazy. Like, I want my action figure. I don't know what my action figure is going to be like. It's not that I'm going to buy the action figure.
It's going to be the brown trousers and the orange shirt and the brown jacket for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that's out. I have not gotten around to getting that yet. I need to, though, because I do want to complete my collection of Doctors.
But yeah, I was worried the companion thing was going to be mistrust, right? Because he says he's trying to get her home and he can't, and she doesn't believe him. And if that were the dynamic every episode, that would get real hard, real fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Moffat probably would have done that, because he would have had, and back in the day, because he would have had 13 episodes instead of just 8 to play that out.
Yes. The companion's function in the episode of Doctor Who is to be the person that trusts the Doctor implicitly and then gets all the other people who don't trust the Doctor to trust the Doctor implicitly. Right? The Doctor doesn't do it. It's the companion. So if the companion doesn't have faith in the Doctor, how do you write almost any episode? Like, it would be, I was worried about that. And then they immediately kind of, they almost backtrack a little. It's like,
she got
fine with it alarmingly fast.
Exactly. And I think what you were saying about the mistrust. I mean, we had that with Tegan. I mentioned Tegan's name.
Yeah,
we had Tegan. I mean, she went through like several stories, just basically berating the doctor and not trusting him at all. But then you also had Adric and Nyssa there to calm her down and also put their trust in the doctor. But when you have just like a one companion dynamic, and especially during a short season, he's not threading that needle.
Yeah, you can absolutely do it if you have multiple companions. It's the sole companion dynamic thing where it just wouldn't have worked.
And my question is, why the hell was he stalking her? I mean, he's basically stalking her at the beginning because he knows who she is.
We don't know. We don't know, and we don't know. We don't. He makes a point of noting that we don't know how that star paper diploma thing got to the past.
Right.
Because he's now holding it. So then he stores it into the TARDIS, presumably next to that fob watch that's down there.
Yeah.
And then again, it's not quite explained why he was told that she was told that she was important. We don't know by who.
Right. And I mean, and then when the Blinovitch levitation effect happened, he somehow was like, he had her like as a baby, and then it's like, I've seen like your whole lifespan now. And it's like, what? And then
that was weird. That must come in later because like we don't need to do that.
And then the fact that she is an ancestor of this very minor character from last season.
They're trying to set it up to mean something. Like it's too because like he's like that's too big a coincidence for your DNA to be that pronounced that far down history.
I have a stupid question. Speaking of whatever mystery RTD is trying to set up this season with Earth not existing and the old lady, is it the same one from last season?
Yes.
Well, okay, there were two last season. That's the problem, right?
Yeah,
the one next door who looked into the camera, and she's the neighbor. She died and turned to dust when she was holding Ruby's grandmother.
Okay, this is right.
That's Mrs. Fletch. She was dressed like Clara, and then at the very end of the episode, at the very end of the season, she's dressed like Romana, and she flies off.
Yeah.
So that is the same woman as last season.
And is she living next door to Belinda?
Yeah.
So does that mean that she lives in the same building as Ruby? Because she was next door to Ruby last season.
She's just everywhere.
Okay. So she's
everywhere.
She's basically like splintered in time, like Clara Oswald.
I mean, do we want to jump to theories already, or should we just keep going through the episodes?
I mean, there's she can be at least 10 different characters.
Well, how many can she be and not be a disappointment?
Oh,
that's the. Well, wait. I wait. Did she really do anything last season? I don't remember.
No, she just broke the fourth wall and just said this quippy shit. Okay, so here's a major theory that I have. It has nothing to do with where the fuck she is. I think Russell T Davies is setting us up for a hiatus. He's been very coy about, is there going to be a season 3? I just think that he's setting us up to end the series for a long while. I've got a quote here from him. If there was a hiatus if a hiatus were to occur, it would most likely be lengthy. And sometimes there might be a pause. And during that pause, the viewers will grow up a few years and start writing stories, and they'll bring it back. So I think, because I can't see him staying on for another season. I can't see Ncuti Gatwa staying on for another, because he's got ambitions. He wants to get out there and act his socks off and be in as many projects as you can. And you can't do that when you're stuck being Doctor Who. I don't see a showrunner being set up to take RTD's place. There's a rumor going around. There's probably several rumors going around, but there's a rumor that Disney wants to just buy the program outright from the BBC, and they want to have control of the production. They want to control the directing, and they want to control the casting.
No, put it to sleep. No, that can't happen.
That will never happen. The BBC will never ever let it.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah.
But that said, when that article happened years ago, where it was like DC was looking into how much it would take to get Doctor Who, I was like, that's baloney. Like someone's just, those are stories that they plant out there when they're trying to buy a different show. I'm like, Disney's not trying to get Doctor Who, and then Disney has Doctor Who. And like that's the third thing I was wrong about. But like I just can't imagine them. It's maybe they lease it out for 5 years. Maybe the BBC is like, okay, you can make Doctor Who for 5 years. You can make it however you want. They're never going to sell it. Right? They will lease it out.
Right, but I mean,
Disney will retain the rights to their episodes, and then after a few years, they go back to the BBC, whatever, you know.
But is the BBC even going to is the BBC even going to exist in 5 years? Because I mean, not to get political, but I mean, everyone's bitching about having the parity license and everything, and like there's so much alternative programming that's out there now.
But Doctor Who is an intellectual property that made a lot of money in the past, and there are different types of media that they can still use it. Physical media like comics and digital media, Big Finish, yeah.
You know, so you can have it all out there and not even have to have a show being released. I honestly think they're going on hiatus. I don't know for how long. I just think because it just feels to me like it just feels like Sylvester McCoy. It's just like, yeah, the first Sylvester McCoy season was mostly crap, but the next season was probably the best season, one of the most solid seasons of Doctor Who we've ever had. And in season 26, I have my issues with, but they were sort of going out on a high note. And I think if you're going to end the show or at least pause it for a long time, I think it's best to go out on a high note. And hopefully that's what we're getting.
We'll see. So much of this was in the can before the first episode even launched. I don't know if he had that much time to adjust when it was clear that they weren't going to get a third season if they don't get a third season. But definitely after that first episode, I'm like, okay, this feels like watching that first episode felt like going to visit Doctor Who in hospice. I'm like, okay, we're just going to be like standing vigil for one more season. And then but I don't know. Okay, let's get to the good ones. Like enough about the bad one.
I did like Belinda's going into the TARDIS for the first time. Ncuti's got this sort of gallop. Is like, come on, let's go. I love that. That was actually pretty. Just the playful way he was like trying to get her into the TARDIS. I thought that was fun.
They are good together. Like no question.
I will say, Ncuti is bringing it. I really like what he's bringing to the role. I think. He's much more confident than Jodie Whittaker. He's just as commanding as Capaldi, but he's like the polar opposite of Capaldi.
I like everything except the thing he does that every other doctor does, which is the twee ADD, ADHD children's game show host affect that they just kind of do twice an episode. Like when he realizes something and he has to jump around and overplay it every single time. I don't know why the directors and showrunners make every doctor do it when it's just wildly out of character for someone who isn't David Tennant, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Matt Smith could do it, but when like, God, every time Jodie Whittaker did that, it's like
the karate stance.
This isn't
the karate. Yeah,
this isn't the character. This isn't the actor. This isn't the right. This doctor doesn't do that. But there's this proto doctor in their head that they have defined with too much specificity.
Yeah, for me, for me personally, I don't think that is that evident for me. I don't know. Your mileage may vary, I guess, but I don't see that much of it. I don't want to say he's hyperactive, but he's very. I mean, this is like Dr. Mood Swing right here. He can go from like joyous 1 minute and crying his eyes out the next.
I don't have a problem with the crying because he just seems like that kind of guy, and it works.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you go from that to the other thing, it's like, well, you're just doing the other thing because you think that's what the doctor's supposed to do here because that's what he did 20 years ago.
Let's move on with Lux, which this was pretty much a remake of Devil's Cord. It's better than the Devil's Cord.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And it's the same place in the season.
Yeah, same place in the season. Like I said, we got the running into the TARDIS wardrobe, running out. We've got the film strips grabbing the doctor, like we had the staff of notes grabbing the doctor the last time. It's the same sort of setup with the Pantheon, the member of the Pantheon. I will say that the character was much more easier on the eyes and the ears for me than Jinx Monsoon.
Music.
I mean, both those episodes also introduced villains I would love to see again. Like, I'd love to see Jinx Monsoon again doing something, and I'd love to see this guy come back. Like the design, it was just so cool. The design was so cool. I was worried that I was going to be like disappointed that they didn't, in the same way I'm disappointed they didn't just do a musical episode. I thought they should just do an animated episode. But I actually think this is much better.
When I saw this one and I saw the next one, I realized, oh my God, does RTD listen to my old Doctor Who podcasts? I really kind of doubt it. But on the Doctor Who Book Club podcast, we did a book, an Eighth Doctor book called Crooked World, where he lands on he lands on a planet where everything is cartoon. It's a cartoon planet, basically. And the front of the book is basically the Eighth Doctor drawn in cartoon form. And I don't remember what happens in it all, but the issue.
This is important because I think this could be the answer to the mystery of the season. If you remember what Crooked World was about at the end.
I don't remember at all.
There were two of these. There was one in the Seventh Doctor line, and then there was another one in the Eighth Doctor line. And I think Steve Lyons wrote them both.
What was the Seventh Doctor one?
It was the one where it's like pulp sci-fi. I mean, I don't know if I want to spoil it here.
Yeah.
You know what? World. Maybe you know what? No.
Head game. No, Conundrum or Head Games. Those are.
Oh, it's okay. It was
Conundrum.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
I think the reveal is that they were in the land of fiction, and that's
something I was going to bring up too, because last season I was certain that the big bad was going to be the master of the land of fiction. That still might be the case for me.
I think having her dress as the companions is a deliberate attempt to get us to think it's the Ronnie, but this character is not the Ronnie. Like this is not even close.
This is
something fantastical.
And I think that she may very well be the master of the land of fiction. I think that's still going to pay off. That's my major theory. There was also a comic strip, which was, I think, a sequel to the Star Beast, where the Doctor traps Beep the Meep in a film, and then then there was the audio. There was a free Big Finish audio with Colin Baker and Beep the Meep, and the Meep explains to the Doctor that he was able to escape from the film because this little girl kept watching it. And it's like, oh, I wish that this character could come to life and all that, and just they didn't really explain how that got resolved.
Isn't that sort of a trope, though, with somebody always ending up getting trapped in a mirror or trapped in a film or a photograph?
Well, we had Gallifrey trapped in a painting.
Oh, yes. That's where, that's ironic. It was Doctor Who.
It was Doctor Who, yeah.
And also Nightmare of Eden.
Oh, yes.
There's a couple things I really liked right away. By the way, this episode made me cry twice. Just
really?
To say.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not under the influence. I think I was just a little bit emotional. Mm-hmm. But they were silly places to cry. At the beginning, when he has a line, she goes, well, I can't go out wearing this. And he says, girl, that's the favorite part, or that's the best part, is getting to choose your outfit for whatever time you've landed in. And I just realized that I did not mind the Doctor acting all gay for some reason. I'm like, oh, totally cool. What do you think, Josh? And then they go to the diner, and he says, well, we can risk a cup of coffee or something like that.
Yeah, and said that. I wasn't even thinking about the racial thing at first, because I thought he was like maybe we'd risk affecting the timeline by stopping him for a cup of coffee. I didn't even think of the racial aspect of the.
And then you feel really bad because he's got to explain it to Belinda.
Yes.
Who probably knows about it, but she's like, oh,
she's never experienced it. She's never experienced it.
Yeah, and it's never come up on the show before, the color of the Doctor's. No, it has. It has. In the Pippin Jane.
Well, wait, it's like...
Dot and Bubble.
Dot and Bubble.
That scene is a direct counterpoint to one of the 13th Doctor episodes with Rosa Parks.
Right.
Where
Yes.
What was God, my favorite companion of that era? What's her name? Jeez.
Yaz.
Yeah, where Yaz is like, well, wait, which section should I sit in? And like the show implied that she sat in the front, and then everyone was like, wait a minute, hold on, I don't think that's how it worked. And this show is like,
yeah.
And so this one was specifically saying like, it's hard. You can't, if you want to, there's an aesthetic they're looking for too, right? Like 1950s Miami Art Deco movie theater, right? But you can't go there without acknowledging this problem.
No.
But you also, that's not what the episode's about, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be they don't want to be a downer every single time they have to do this, but they also have to so you have to handle it delicately, right?
Well, I mean, it does become a plot point because when they come out of the film, they think they've come out in the film, and then the cop comes by with the mom.
And I'm like, ugh. That's when I'm like, ugh.
But then he realizes that they're still in the film because that's a New York cop and not a Miami cop. So that was a sort of a mislead there. So he kind of worked in the. I do appreciate them bringing that up because I remember the Shakespeare episode where Martha's like, am I okay? Am I going to get in trouble here? And the doctor's just sort of like, oh, just pretend that you own the place or whatever. Just whatever. Just kind of just brushed off her worries about, getting molested or something bad happening to her because of the color of her skin.
She might be a Moor. Weren't there? Because, okay, I only know about this because we watched Vampires in Venice. And I said the same thing, and somebody sent us a long email explaining what the Moors were.
Okay, I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay, I have no idea. I can't remember, but they're folks that lived in Europe that were basically of rich African descent. But other than that, I don't know anything about them. I don't want to say anything.
They ruled significant parts of Spain for many, many, many years, centuries. Okay. There's a whole Spanish architectural subset that is known as Moorish. You would know it if you saw a picture.
Sean, you joked about Russell T. Davies listening to our podcast. I have to point out the three fans that were watching, and the one of them had the shirt with Grogu on it, and it said Meep on it.
Yeah.
I'm convinced it had to be a nod to Chris because he was saying that they're going to bring goofy ass kiddie characters, like the little cute companions, and and sure enough,
it's funny you say that because, well, I don't know. That scene, I loved it. It came out of nowhere. I didn't know what to expect. It had so many little in-jokes like, what's your favorite one? Oh, blink. Everybody says blink. That's what my mom would say if you asked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
but that's this is driving me crazy. That's not what 3 Doctor Who fans would say. They would have 3 different answers.
Exactly. Yes, RTD, you should know better.
He should know better. And by the way, it's a little telling that none of those 3 fans look like Russell T. Davies because he doesn't see himself it's just I don't want to psych the guy, but
Well, I mean, and then also didn't you like the one about the he's rattling all the crappy episodes from last year?
Yeah, the goblins. The goblins. He mentions goblins.
Yeah, he's taking a piss take on himself.
I'm not sure that this wasn't recorded before those episodes aired either. So. So he didn't know how they were received yet.
But I think also that them all saying blink was RTD's frustration at Moffat.
It's definitely he's poking fun at Moffat. He's like, yes, no question about it. That is an in-joke between 2 friends. Mm-hmm. I don't know you should put it in the show. I can imagine a version of the scene that is so funny because it's just packed full of jokes that only we would get.
Yeah.
That I would be like, okay, fine, you win. I capitulate. That's not what we got, though.
They have that. It's called the 5-ish Doctors.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
That's exactly what this should have been.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I don't know how much I buy into this, but there's this concept of the creator and the fan space. And there's certain fan spaces the creator doesn't belong in. And it feels, I don't like that Doctor Who keeps trying to define its relationship with its fans.
Okay.
It should just, His job is to make the episodes. That's it. Just make the episodes and make them as good as possible, and we will figure out our relationship to the show. So trying to render all of fandom with three actors, like
very typical. I mean, I thought the characters were very stereotypical. I mean,
my God,
they were not a white guy amongst them. You know, we had to have the guy of some sort of Middle Eastern descent. We had to have the nerdy girl, and we also had to have the girl who had some sort of
sure, yeah.
You know,
okay,
yeah.
Here's I think that's great. My problem is probably that they're clearly all three new Who fans. They started in 2005.
They have not watched any of the classic series.
Well, yeah. Put a 60-year-old white guy there, and we know what he's standing in for, right? We know where I don't know.
Thank God they didn't. Well, I mean, thank God they didn't put Stephen Warren and Chris on there. It's just, I would have just.
No, what he should do is he should put that obnoxious guy who's like making those terrible animations. The guy,
Ian Levine.
Yeah, he should have put Ian Levine there as an apology for Love and Monsters. But I'm dead serious. Like Ian Levine is like, he's got issues. And I get it. He's obnoxious, but that was mean. That's picking on. I've said this on this show before. He picked on a disabled kid. And that's not cool. And when you do that, you should apologize.
You know what? I never thought of that before. I never made the comparison between the villain in Love and Monsters and Ian Levine.
Yeah, he flat out said it. Yeah.
Oh.
It's fucked up, dude. It's messed up.
Oh, man.
We didn't know about autism back then or whatever, right? So nowadays we know better. It was kind of cool where they figured it out before he did, and then they disappeared, and then they're there at the end. But my other problem is just you have so little time in this episode. It feels like it's going by so fast. We get so little time with the animated guy, actually.
Yeah, that's right. He only comes in in and out. I mean, we have the Doctor and Belinda in animated world, and I like how they sort of at the beginning they're very much like Hanna-Barbera two-dimensional characters, even down to the way they acted and the way they talked. That was straight out of 1970s Hanna-Barbera there. Still better than most of the animations we've gotten, for the missing episodes.
That was so
it's
cool.
better than all of them.
That was really neat when they turned into Pixar images and then became real people, literally pressed up to the TV screen.
Yeah, I was hoping for like Duck Amuck.
Like what?
I don't know.
Duck Amuck. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a classic Bugs Bunny. Well, it's a Daffy Duck cartoon, and basically he keeps getting drawn into situations.
Okay.
And he gets he gets painted into some weird screwball type of creature, and he gets painted. Basically, he has no control over his actions because there's always this ink and this paintbrush that are painting him in these situations. And at the end, it's who's responsible for this? And they back him up, and it's Bugs Bunny. Ain't I a stinker?
You actually do that quite well. Does he really say "Ain't I a stinker"?
Oh yeah,
that's what he says in Roger Rabbit when he gives Bob Hoskins the anvil. Oh, did you mean to do that, Bugs? Yeah, ain't I a stinker?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody.
No, that's fine.
Buddy trails.
Oh man.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I agree. They could have done a little bit more with the animation, a little bit more action, maybe a chase scene or something like that.
Yes, exactly. We have the repeating backgrounds. That would have been great.
And I immediately thought of a thing that terrified me as a kid, and that would be the scene where the girl gets sucked into the TV in Twilight Zone, the movie, and gets eaten by a giant monster.
Oh, yeah.
But it would have been nice to see, but it's okay. I liked everything else just fine. I thought it was great. I love the idea of that villain, and I almost think, wait, does this mean that they're going to bring back, what did you guys call it, the Pantheon?
Yeah, the Pantheon. He's part of the Pantheon. And the bit where it's oh, no wonder, I've heard of you. Yeah, okay. they were saving you up for me, because we have to have some regeneration tomfoolery here, because when they were trying to break themselves out, they were trying to burn the film, and he burns his hand, and so he starts doing the sparkle regeneration thing, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to like suck the life out of you and I'll become three-dimensional, which I think that should have burned him out even faster than the sun.
Frankly, I think you're right. Yeah, I think. Wait a minute. How is the Doctor going to get out of this one? He's not going to regenerate. I know that.
Well,
you're talking about the cartoon, Love.
Right? Yeah, and then we have to have it. And this happened in this episode, and then the following episode, we have someone sacrificing themselves, because I think that Projectus killed himself. Because like his wife's been dead for 10 years, he's very lonely. He misses her a lot, and she seemed like a really nice lady. And I think he just, I mean, they don't show it, but he done himself in.
I agree with that. And I also was going to say, nobody dies in this episode, not even the villain, really. But I just realized that's not true. Yeah. Because Mr. Pie.
Yeah.
Mr. Pie.
You know, that's a problem a lot of people brought up with the Jodie Whittaker era is it just, there's always, isn't that how every Doctor Who story, not every Doctor Who story, but don't a lot of Doctor Who stories have to end like that? Because the Doctor can't die. So right. is it just the execution we had a problem with? Like in Jodie Whittaker's era, it just feels like someone decided to take a step forward because that's what the script needed. Whereas here you buy it. So it's not the problem.
If you buy, I mean, I buy it because I understand why he did it, because he missed his wife so much. And he just, I mean, the reason why he harbored Lux to begin with is because he brought her back from the film footage that he had. I mean, it's really sad, really, if you come to think of it. But, she gives him the matches. And it's like we can't go on like this anymore. It's not healthy for you. You're basically sequestering yourself in this movie theater.
Yeah.
And he's probably not all there mentally.
You have to have characters like this for it to work. You have to have guest actors and guest characters written deep enough that you can buy into this. And when you don't, that is maybe the number one ingredient for the Doctor Who episode, right? Like if the other characters aren't believable or recognizable, then it's just the Doctor and the companion running around in like a pantomime.
Well, the problem is that you only have 45 minutes per episode.
Yeah.
If this was like in the old days where you had like 4 to 6 25-minute episodes where you get to actually know these characters and you get some character development, and by the time they buy it in episode 4, we feel something for that character, or that makes an impact in the story. But it's just it doesn't work because it's like we barely get to know these characters.
Exactly, and but my recipe for like New Who is to have more recurring characters, so you don't have to build from zero every single episode, right?
But then it wouldn't be Doctor Who. It would be Torchwood.
It would be. I mean, look, you had Captain Jack and River Song running around.
It would be like the unit years, basically. You would have to have the Doctor in one place in time and space for like a season or two in order for that to happen.
No, I think you make them Time Lords, because I don't want a bunch of boring ass humans. Like that doesn't sound good. Because you had River Song running around, you had Captain Jack running around. You could have had Captain Jack's boyfriend, played by Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, running around if you wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you can throw in the Ronnie. You can bring back Romana. You can do other things, introduce other time travel. Like I don't know. Like there's you could tone down the Master a little, or you could have Jinx Monsoon come back and not be the villain, but still make it a musical episode for reasons. I don't know. You can do all kinds of things, like if you do that. But like starting from tabula rasa every single week is too hard. You're making the job harder than it needs to be, because that's also what fans want to see. They want to see their favorite characters and their favorite performers come back over and over again. And the episode we're about to talk about has an invisible, voiceless character come back, and it's the most exciting thing in Doctor Who in many, many years.
But that's sort of RTD's specialty right there. And when he does it expertly. He did it with Rose and Rose's mother, and Rose's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the alternate boyfriend and the dad from the other universe. Yeah. Like at the end of season 2, it feels like the Avengers.
You mean
he does it again, and he does it again.
Is it a good thing or bad thing?
A good thing.
Do you mean the Marvel property or John Steed and Emma?
No, it feels like the Marvel movies when they finally get together. Like, and then he does it again at the end of season 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's literally the Avengers. Like, he's just doing the Avengers at that point.
I would say it's more of a CW DC crossover than a Marvel movie.
Sure, but like that's the budget we're dealing with.
Yes, exactly.
The indie, how is he going to defeat a cartoon with magic? That's the answer. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, this last episode that we're going to talk about shortly here, someone asked him how does that sonic screwdriver work, and he just says magic, and I think he kind of delivered that line sort of as a piss take.
Yeah, if they hadn't been so rude to that guy, maybe he wouldn't have completely lost his shit. That's one of those things where it's like the episode needs this character, because Doctor Who episodes always have this character. But you love it. The second in command, who is the worst. Oh,
Cisco, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. And then we get to watch him die in like the most glorious way. But okay, let's talk about this episode. Like,
yeah, let me see if I had my notes here for Lux here.
We're definitely shorting Lux. Like, it's a better episode than we're talking about. I don't know what to say other than that it was beautiful and fun to watch.
I thought. I mean, it was. I thought it was much better than The Devil's Cord. I mean, it's a complete remake of The Devil's Cord, but it was done better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I think they could have done something with The Devil's Cord. They could have done that one better. I think they could have incorporated the Beatles more. I don't know, made the motivation of the maestro more clear.
I think we talked about this last time. You have to get the music rights to something to make that episode. If you can't get the Beatles, then you don't do the Beatles. You do.
Well, I mean, Disney does have Get Back. They have Let It Be. They could have done something. And I mean, I almost think it's a shame that they didn't just nut up and instead of like making up Mr. Ring-a-Ding, they could have just fucking had Mickey Mouse up there trying to like kill the Doctor.
Oh, interesting. I think I like that it's not Mickey Mouse because there's more possibility he could come back.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it would have been interesting. It would have been a fun nod to do a Disney character since it's on Disney Plus.
They wouldn't. I don't think Disney would allow that to have one of their characters be a villain. It's
like we're at the party. We're just happy to be here. We don't want to ask for anything else. Maybe if we don't ask for anything, they'll forget they're paying us and they'll just keep writing checks for one more season.
This is Tim Trelaw.
This is David J. Howe.
I'm Peter Purvis.
I am Sadie Miller.
This is Lauren Cornelius.
Larry, it's Fraser.
For all things in the Doctor Who collecting world and beyond, the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. I'm Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I've been collecting for 42 years. You're listening to Doctor Who Gives a F***, a drunken Doctor Who podcast on the Direction Point Podcast Network.
All right, so let's talk about The Well. This is the one that just dropped today as we're recording this. I watched this morning about 9 o'clock, and while my girlfriend was still asleep, and it was still very much an intense watch for me. I don't know. It's weird that we follow a pretty decent episode with a really good one. And hopefully, for the most part, hopefully that this doesn't get ruined by the series finale. I mean, that's my only issue because I think at the end, I think whatever that monster was got out.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I see. That's the only. I don't know. I liked that they kept it ambiguous because you can go either way with it, but. This episode was perfect. And I'm just a sucker for when they say, I mean, as soon as they said X-Tonic, because I've seen Midnight a lot and I just watched it with my daughter like a year or two. I'm like, they're doing it again. I know exactly what's happening.
I thought of it too. And I'm like, Nah, they're not going to do that. He's not going to bring that back. Because I often forget that Midnight is an RTD episode. It's just so different from all the others, you know?
I mean, a lot of people think it's a Moffat episode.
It feels like it. It really does.
I think for me, that was his best episode to date. And like I said, I think this is a worthy sequel. You know, it's kind of like the Alien. It's as Aliens is to Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it feels just like Aliens at the beginning too. I thought about that.
My God, that's literally the truth. Yes.
Yeah. And wow. I watched it twice because I immediately told my daughter she had to watch this one before she got spoiled because she also loves Midnight.
Oh yeah.
And she didn't catch Extonic, but then as soon as they said diamonds, she figured it out, right?
See, I didn't catch that either because I thought when she said diamonds, I thought, oh, the sky is full of diamonds. I thought, oh God, are they back in Utopia?
Because the thing that it's cutting to is also you're realizing, oh, that's what's happening. That's what's in that room with them. It's this creature again.
Yeah, it's that creature again. We did not. I mean, I don't know. We did not need that flashback.
Oh,
I need the audio cues.
We didn't, but I think some people may have. This was 17 years ago, guys.
I love a good flashback pop up.
They're not going to pass on the chance to show you David Tennant in Doctor Who. It's like, oh, there's David Tennant. Yeah. Like there are people for that gets them a lot. But like, man, this is so good. Did you have any qualms about how they just changed the mechanic as opposed to doing the exact same thing as Midnight? Because they couldn't have done that.
I'm glad they changed it. No, I'm glad they did because I mean it made it a far interesting story. And we had a very sympathetic character. I can't remember the name. I've got
Alice. Alice spelled Aliss. Yeah,
who's actually played by a real deaf person.
Yeah. Fantastic. Like 10 out of 10. Carrie's has to the episode doesn't work if that character doesn't work.
No.
And she lies to them. She knows what's going because that's what I love. That's the other part I loved is they kept you.
She's just trying to get home. She just wants to get out of there.
But they kept you in suspense as to whether or not.
Yeah, because for a while I thought that she's evil.
Yeah, because the way they shot it, and then her line,
just the few looks that she was giving, it's like,
right. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, is this a version of that creature after it's already done its repeating and taking control? And then I thought they were going to restore another video that showed the creature doing the same thing it did to the Doctor on that thing, so that we were basically seeing a version of this creature after it had already taken over someone over.
But what was getting me, because it's like you just the little glimpse of whatever the fuck that was behind her.
And there's just
what is that?
There's nothing too. Like I went back and watched it and had my eyes peeled open, and there's just not like.
No, but I
wasn't sure there was.
I swear to God, there was something there, and there's something.
But then I was also wondering maybe there wasn't anything there. Maybe they're just cutting fast and they're using the actors' reactions to make us think we saw something that wasn't there. Because I think they did that once. I think if you go back and watch it, in one of those scenes, there is nothing there, but in some there's clearly. And that scene where we're behind her and we're zoomed in on the Doctor's face, and you see the shadow come and the shadow go away. So we don't know what the Doctor saw. What is your reading of this episode? Is this the exact same creature that the Doctor met, and there's only one of them, or
it doesn't matter? I mean,
I think it matters hugely. I think because the episode is the episode's acting like the Doctor almost has a relationship with this thing. And it waited, by the way, 400,000 years is an unbelievable amount of time. The Doctor kind of acts like it's been waiting there the whole time. Maybe it had its own adventures, dude. It had a life after you left. It was running around on this planet.
Are you a TNG person at all, Lelon?
Oh, big time.
Okay, so Skin of Evil from season 1.
Yeah. Armus, Skin of Evil.
Yeah.
I had his playing card. As a kid, when I was in high school, I did the Star Trek, the playing card game.
Okay. So he was trapped on that planet. He was he was wanting to get off that planet.
Yeah. I remember this. This. Yes.
And there's the one where Tasha Yar gets killed.
Yep.
Yes.
And Picard's like, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not taking you anywhere. because you're just going to go and fuck shit up if I let you go. And it's the same with this monster. The monster desperately wants to get off that planet, and I think it has, because we had the last scene. I think just before they cut off, I think you can barely hear some whispering in the background.
Yeah, you do.
Oh shit! I gotta go.
You do.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know if this is a setup for. I don't know if this is going to be the setup for the disappointing finale or not.
I don't think so.
I think
this. He's planting seeds, dude. He's planting seeds for the franchise. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
I know.
His gay boyfriend who is off in the other universe, he's going to go find him.
No,
probably.
This happens like every time the series is on. The air is rife with theories, conspiracy theories about how this means this was planted, this was planted, this was planted. I don't think that we're going to see this creature again. I hope we don't see it again. Because he's going to fucking try to explain it and try to explain why it wants to delete the Earth, and we're going to have like Flux Part 2 or some shit.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that. I think it's like, if someone wants to do one in 5 years, it's there out there if you want.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You're planting that. You're planting that kind of seed.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know when we're going to go get back to, what was that guy's name? It was from Rogue. Was his name Rogue?
His name was Rogue. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have. Maybe he doesn't have plans to do it, but someone can do it. Right. That's what I talk about reoccurring characters. If you have an episode that starts with them reuniting with Rogue, you're already on step 4 in the first 5 minutes of the episode, right? Like, you get to fast forward so much, and you can actually do a real story in 48 minutes. Okay,
I don't think Rogue made that much of an impression.
Oh, really?
No.
A lot of people had that on their top 2, top 3.
The character, I meant, not the episode, but the character himself. Because I thought he was just a second-rate Captain Jack Harkness.
Oh, so you think people love the episode because of the bird people?
No, I don't. No, I mean, they love the romance, but I just don't think I don't think that character is going to be brought back. Because honestly, I don't think Ncuti Gat was going to be there for that long.
Well, sure, okay, you can't do anything about that. But if you were going to be here longer, I feel like you have to see him.
Maybe, but I mean, I'm certainly I wouldn't care either way, honestly.
I would tell you, modern fans who don't understand that RTD's mind can change on a whim, they're expecting to see him again. Because that's what they watch Marvel movies, and the after credits scene is the scene of the next movie. And that's what this was. He said, "Come find me." You don't have him say that if you don't have plans to do that. That's just how a young person is reading this. We've lived long enough to know that sometimes like things don't happen, but kids don't understand that.
Could that be "Come find me" in a novel or on Big Finish or on a comic strip? Is it something that they're going to follow through on the actual show?
But I'm saying the fans are expecting that.
The fans are expecting it, but that doesn't mean they're going to get it.
I know, but like that to me is why we're like on the verge of cancellation, is because you're not giving the fans what they want. It's like, and you make it too hard on yourself by trying to like outthink what they want.
Well, the thing is that you can't do that, because the Doctor Who fandom is so diverse. I mean, and I don't mean that racially or or gender or anything like that.
I think it used to be, but I think you've lost so many people that the people left are a pretty homogeneous group of people who want the same thing.
I think you got a point there.
I don't know if we're the people, though. I mean, because I remember years ago seeing an independent comic strip, The 9 Types of Doctor Who Fans. And I'm like, which one am I? Naturally, I'm the guy dressed up like Sylvester McCoy, the old guy, saying, it's not like it used to be in the old days. When we say things like that, I do actually feel that we're like that character in the comic strip. And I think...
I mean, we're the holdovers. We're the old school ones that are still hanging on to this show because it meant so much to us. It basically shaped our lives. That's all that's left. It's us and the majority of the fandom represented by the 3 kids in the last episode.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's people that have been here since Christopher Eccleston and then dropped it like halfway through Matt Smith, and then others who have picked it up halfway through Matt Smith and don't know shit about the Christopher Eccleston era, or there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Or maybe haven't seen or weren't there. You know, they don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, most of the people who picked it up during the Tennant and Smith years, a lot of them dropped off into Capaldi, and then more dropped off after. I mean, I think by the time Whitaker came, they were all gone.
I think that's my point. Like the Capaldi era was the show changing, and it's been that show ever since. It is. What the fans are expecting are a very charged emotional connection between the companion and the Doctor, and everything else is built in support of that. There's no more timey-wimey or any cool things. We're not doing cool stuff anymore. It's crying in front of the camera. And if you're not on board with that, you've left by now. So the only people who are left are going to be the people who are on board on that. I don't know that there's...
But, I mean, are there people actually shipping the Doctor and Belinda Chandra?
Well, no, but
a little early for that too.
They're shipping them in a asexual way, you know. I mean, they want them to be best friends forever. Right. They want them to make friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
They want them to be the most important person in each other's lives.
I mean, I will say that I do like their dynamic, and I think it works much better than Ruby Sunday. Because I mean, I'm sorry, Ruby Sunday I barely got to know. Ruby Sunday barely had a character. Yaz even less of a character, you know.
I thought Ruby had more of a character so far, because like the whole orphan thing, right? I mean, you either buy her or you don't. But
I mean, that was like, I mean, she played that just as much as Bill played the gay card. It just became a
Belinda's literally a nurse that wants to go home after a shift. Like, there's not a lot left there.
Yeah,
the thing with their parents. I mean,
they're kind of setting it up like Martha, because I mean the whole thing with her parents and everything.
Her parents were awful. Her parents were the worst.
Oh God, yeah, they were. That's
that. I love eras of Doctor Who that do crazy things. So I loved that we had a 2-year era of the Eccleston and the first Smith season where it's all about like Rose and her family, and it's the Rose and the family era. Yeah. And then he tries to do it with Martha. I'm like, no, that era's over.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, right now we're in the era of the gods. I'm not a huge fan of this pantheon where we have to name check every single one and list them each time, because I feel like it's
like a card game. It's like a collectible card game. Get all 5.
But no, but they never mention the next one that we're going to see, right? If you're actually going to mention them, throw in some names and tease me about what's coming next. Don't just tell me the ones I've already seen. That's not how people talk. They don't know which ones I've seen yet. So like, whatever. That's not it. But I'm saying like, this is the era of the gods.
Yeah, but you're writing down at that point. You're writing down to your audience, you know, because you think that your audience are idiots and that they're not going to retain anything.
I thought that at the season end last season they did that, and they put in a couple names that we were not familiar with. It was like the Mara, the blah blah. I don't remember, the Great Consciousness maybe, and then they threw in a name like. It wasn't Zodin, but I'm thinking of that as an example where they would do something like this.
Yeah, but they didn't do Lux, right? And I'm sure we're going to get another one, because like my other prediction here, and like, you know that the third, there's a 2-part finale.
Yes.
But the one right before the finale is always the actual start of the finale, right? So that's the Interstellar Song Contest episode. And I think it's going to be maybe a Gods of Ragnarok situation, another sequel. And the other thing is RTD is so tricky. He told everyone that there's going to be a sequel this season, and now we've got it. Yeah, it's like, okay, there's our sequel. Now no one's looking for the second sequel. It's a sequel to Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Maybe, I don't know. That's crazy. Because
that's as valid as any other theory that's out there.
Look, here's the thing: if you're going to do a multi-year arc of gods in Doctor Who, you can't not do Ragnarok. You can't do the gods that have been in Doctor Who already.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who wrote Pyramids of Mars?
That was. I think that was Robert Holmes. I think he wrote it under a pen name, but I believe that was Robert Holmes.
Okay. In the industry, and specifically among this group of writers, Doctor Who writers, and I'm talking about even the ones that are alive back in the old day through the Wilderness years and the New Adventures until now, Do you think that there's a professional courtesy that they're not going to fuck with someone else's property unless that person? It's not that they have a legal right to sue tech.
Stephen Moffat literally stole everything from the books. They don't give a shit. They can do whatever they want. Like it's theirs. It's like what Terrence Dix said. Someone else pointed out to this. It was actually your co-host Eric Stadnick who pointed out when I was talking about this, because every Moffat episode he does this. He borrows heavily and doesn't attribute to it, and it kind of bugs me. But the Terrence Dix quotes is the only thing you need for a good Doctor Who story is an idea. Preferably your own idea. It doesn't have to be your own idea, right? So yeah, no, they're gonna. I mean, who wrote The Greatest Show in the Galaxy? I don't.
Greatest Show in the Galaxy, Stephen Wyatt. Yeah. What else did he write? Anything else? He wrote Paradise Towers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. Well, Paradise Towers is one of those which is like, I think, great concept but horribly executed.
I agree 100%.
And speaking of Paradise Towers, going back briefly to the Robot Revolution, where like the rebels came. Did anyone else like the one character who was like, I just thinking,
Pex. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I should have written it down. Yes, I thought of Pex as well.
Yes.
Cowardly cutlet.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me play, because we all like this episode, right? A lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate. Someone would argue that there's nothing new here. And then we're doing the same thing over again. And it's cheap.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's television. Maybe, isn't there some old joke that there's like only 4 kinds of Doctor Who episodes? It's like you're either based under siege, or you're this, or this, or this, or like what if there's only 15 years worth of Doctor Who stories, and you actually have to just do the same thing, and you just have to cycle them every 15 years? Like,
yeah, it's like there's only 8.
You can't keep. You can't. Yeah, not everything can be brand new for 65 plus years. It's unsustainable. Right? I think there's a virtue in being able to like take a hit and then do a sequel and deliver on it when the expectations are even higher. Like expectations are so low, and then you're going to set yourself up against one of the best episodes ever, and it ends up being good. There are people who just like, I got super excited when I realized what was happening. Like, do other people not feel that? Why are you watching television? Go read a book.
When I was watching this today, there was a slight, the voice in my head, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up.
And it's not nostalgia, because people are going to say it's nostalgia. It's not nostalgia.
No, it's
not. That was a really good episode, and I want to just like it.
Yeah.
I want the sequel.
It's just like, they actually pulled it off. And like I said, I don't know if this is going to get ruined by whatever happens in the 2-part finale, but we did get the obligatory Mrs. Flood thing, which I think you can take completely out. That's nothing to do.
I hope so.
I think, because if it's the gods of Ragnarok, and canonically the gods of Ragnarok created the land of fiction. It's on the wiki page. So they connect. And maybe, I don't know. I'm excited. I don't want to think about it too much, because if I think about it and come up with a theory and that's what it is, I will see it coming earlier. I'd rather not know. By the way, this episode worked because I was not spoiled.
Right.
Having it come out at the exact same time around the world lets everyone more easily plan to watch it without getting spoiled. I would have been friggin' miserable had I known what was happening going in. That would have been awful.
Yeah, well, I've seriously curtailed my online presence. I actually dropped Blue Sky for a while. I reactivated my account, but I actually dropped Blue Sky for a while because I know it's because I don't have enough followers. I'm not following enough people, but like all the posts are either like Doctor Who posts or people just basically, we're fucked. We're doomed. We're fucked.
Yes.
And everything. And it's just like, I gotta walk away from that, man. I just do. So for me, it's not terribly hard for me to avoid spoilers because I'm not seeking them out.
This wasn't spoiled at all. Even if you had been on social media for the last 6 months, it didn't leak. So all you had to do was avoid from when you knew it was going to air to when you could watch it.
Well, it didn't leak because this was probably a studio-bound story.
Yeah, but impressive nonetheless.
But the fact that they were able to keep it under wraps for over a year, because it was probably over a year that they made this. But yeah, hats off hats off to RTD and the co-writer of that episode, who is, what is her name?
Sharma Angel Waffle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I can do with some waffles right now.
And
she's one of, I think, 3 writers we're getting this season who have very unusual backgrounds. So so we just got 3 Russell T Davies episodes in a row.
Yeah.
We're going to get 3 non-Russell T Davies episodes in a row.
Yeah. The next one's from Pete McTighe, who did, what did he do last?
He did Kerblam and he did Praxius.
And honestly, I've seen the next time trailer, and it's like, this is the one I can probably skip. I swear to God, if Ruby's new boyfriend is evil because he's a white cis,
he'll be cool, but he'll be just a complete wet sock of a man.
Okay,
I don't know. So let's not prejudge. Let's give it a shot. But
I know. But I mean,
seems like it's always like that.
We're getting 3 non-Russell T Davies. Although I have to imagine he's good. If that last episode leads into the finale, I have to believe he had some hand in it. And then of course the 2 finale episodes are Russell T Davies. Sean, you said it's not important to you if it's the same one or not.
The same monster
from Midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah.
It I don't care about the lore behind a creature like this, and I think part of it is because if there is a lore that the author wants to tell whoever it is, I'm probably going to be disappointed about it, just like I was disappointed with reading half of the New Adventures.
I gotcha.
There always seems to be some sort of Cthulhian,
I'm
God behind it all.
I don't want to see it, right? I don't want to ever see this thing.
It's kind of it also reckons back to Listen.
Yes.
What?
The Capaldi episode with the descendant of Danny Pink, who ended up not existing because Danny Pink got killed and was turned to a Spider-Man, so that completely negated that episode. Yeah. But we had the monster under the covers that you never saw.
Yes.
Yes.
That's another episode that is doing the hits, because that's basically doing the season 6 premiere when they go to Florida in the insane asylum and they're looking for that girl. It's the it's beat for beat the exact same thing. That's what I mean by doing the hits. It's just shamelessly remix an episode is good, and you can fail, but it's if you're not doing that, it does feel like you're also with only 8 episodes. It's a real contention between doing new stuff and doing old stuff, right? If you were doing 12 episodes or 13 episodes religiously every year, you've got room for lots of different writers and lots of different old and new stuff.
Yeah. And if you want to take a left turn, not, no pun intended, you can do that to an episode. You can have your one-offs. Love and Monsters was a one-off that I didn't think worked that well. Midnight was the one-off that did work.
I'm actually going to go out on a limb. I'm saying this is the best Shurigawa episode that isn't a Dr. Light episode, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's his best episode, right? And probably Lux and Lux are his 2 best episodes, because the 2 best episodes from last season didn't have him in it very much. He either wasn't in it at all, or he was just on the telephone screen in Dun Bubble or whatever.
You said the 2 best episodes. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I liked Lux more than The Well. I think it was because, what's weird? Maybe The Well isn't the best Shurigawa episode, because while I was watching it, I did keep thinking, and this is not Shurigawa's fault or RTD's fault, I kept thinking how cool it would be as a Capaldi episode.
You know what I did? I was like, what if this exact episode had been made during the Chibnall era, and how would it have been bad? Because would they have would this have been good, or would it have not been good? What is the problem? If you just give them a really, really good script, is it do we get this?
Well,
or is there actually
we don't
deficiency?
because basically, we have characters describing exactly what's going on this, it's an audio drama. And I love the fact. Okay, so so talk about a callback. Okay, so we have the I think Shayla was her name, who was the commanding officer. Again, we have someone sacrificing herself,
played by Paul Cornell, by the way.
Jesus.
No, she looks like. Is it? I can't remember his name. British actor Noah Tyler.
Yes, that's
Noah
what
Tyler.
it is. Okay,
She
okay.
looks like his like
No.
twin sister.
Stop.
Okay, but we kind of have a callback to when Bill was shot, and because had a completely cartoonish hole blown on her chest. I mean, it was basically like the movies who got shot in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I gotta watch this stuff again. I have no memory of this at all. Of Bill getting shot.
Yeah, well, she gets turned to a Cyberman.
Okay, I kind of remember that.
But she gets shot, and there's this comically, like almost cartoon-like hole in her chest that you can literally look through. It's about as yeah. We have so whatever this thing is, the thing with no name is behind Belinda, and so Shayla decides to I got to get this thing on me, and then I got to fall into the well so I can kill the thing. She shoots Belinda. Because she's like, they kept giving these like hints like, oh, I'm like the best sharpshooter, blah blah blah. So she's able to shoot Belinda without mortally wounding her. I mean, they have to resuscitate her, but they were able to save her at the end.
Yeah, but that's still an extreme event for a character who's only like 50-50 on traveling with the Doctor in the first place, and now she's been shot through the heart in her third story.
And you're to blame, and you gave love a bad name. And
are they gonna are they just gonna roll past it, or is there gonna be like a consequence to this? I don't know.
The next story is set in present time, I think. So maybe she just says she does a Tegan, and she's like, Doctor, I fucking have it. I don't want to be shot again. Bring me home. And he successfully reaches her time.
Okay, so they cannot get to May 24th, 2025, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Why not go to May 23rd?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I had the exact same thing
all over again.
or a week after and see what's up, or a week before, because it's not that kind of show. You're not allowed to ask.
It's like, look, some shit's going down here. We got to get ready. And but of course we wouldn't have
I don't know.
You
know what really drives me crazy is that some of this stuff could actually be done much better. There's this show, I don't know if y'all have been watching it, called Severance on Apple Plus.
I don't have Apple Plus, but I've heard the concept of it. Basically, it's people who work in an office, and like every time they go in, they get their memory wiped of the life outside the office. And then when they leave, they get their memory wiped of what goes on in the office.
Right.
Okay.
And there's some drama that goes on. I'm not going to say what it is. It is totally worth a watch, by the way.
Okay.
But I'm waiting for like the other shoe to drop on this and for me to go, wait a minute, that doesn't work, because before it never does that. It never did that in the first season. Yet I'm doing it left and right when I watch this.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, why would what's her name? Shia Pet?
Shayla.
Yeah.
Shaya.
I would think that in real life, her first priority would be to get Belinda down the well, not shoot Belinda, possibly harm her, and then sacrifice herself. But I would say.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of. I mean, she kind of explained it as part of her character. I mean, we get that flashback.
It's my job. It's my job.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I mean, you can't kill the companion in the third episode.
No, you can't. But I mean, they have. I mean, that's this weird flashback of her as running away from something as a child, and like, it's my duty to protect, to serve and protect, and that's what she did. Like I said, we don't have enough time to really get to know these characters and to understand their motivations.
Fair enough.
It's all shorthand.
In the well, why doesn't she go stand against a wall? Solves all the problems, right? It's like shutting your eyes when you open the Ark of the Covenant. Just like stand with your back against the wall. Take all the time you need to figure out what's going on. You can't. It's Doctor Who. At some point, it's Doctor Who made by Russell T Davies. You can't ask that many questions.
Right. Exactly.
Also, some of them. Yeah, not going the day before they needed to answer, because they keep mentioning it, and I'm like, have you tried everything? Like, it doesn't feel like you've exhausted all the possibilities.
I want to bring it back to what one of y'all mentioned earlier about let's go to the hits. Let's do the hits. I think that was you, Leland.
Yeah, or go to the well. Like, do you think the name of this episode is a joke?
Yeah.
Like, he's going back to the well? It's a reach. I don't know.
You're not going to get this kind of insight from Rachel Friscaro, by the way.
What are some of the hits that you'd like to see come back, whether it be from Classic Who or New Who, that have not come back before? Like, of course, the Daleks and the Cybermen.
You notice no Daleks, no Cybermen.
Thank God for that.
I think you should be. I think Chibnall should be imprisoned in the Tower of London for not bringing River Song back, and River Song should get a scene with every single modern Doctor until she can't walk, or until you just can't sell anymore. But there's just no reason not to bring her back at least once every era. She is the Brigadier of the new series.
I agree with this.
It's super fun. She's still doing conventions. Come on. It's table stakes. You're just leaving money on the table. Just pick it up. This is what the fans want. You can't write. I'm not saying she has to be around all the time, but you can't write one River Song episode every 3 years and figure it out. I just don't believe it. So that's one. I think it characters me for more than episodes, I think.
I think for me, it's not what I want to see. It's what I don't want to see. And what I don't want to see is I don't want to have the focus be solely on the Doctor and how he's feeling and what regenerative crisis is he going to be going through this time. And it's just, I just wish, and they kind of did that to an extent when they brought the series back in 2005. Where the Doctor was basically like the Lone Ranger. He was just he came in, he sorted shit out, and he went off. And that was it. We didn't get into his personal life. We didn't get into, he had the angst about, my planet's gone, it's been totally wiped off. And we had that. And that the drama worked. But I think they just kept piling on the drama so much, where we basically had to destroy Gallifrey twice in order to give this character some motivation, and it's just so focused on that, and it's not focused on being an anthology show, which I guess I don't think you can do the classic format in a modern series. I don't think they've not been able to successfully do that.
I just want a villain to come back.
Yeah, for format wise, I think you need to make a decision. If you're an anthology, you need longer episodes or more multi-parters, and you make yourself an honest to God anthology. Or you don't.
But Buffy was the perfect model for modern Doctor Who. If you had enough episodes per season, you can do that. But the problem is they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time to do it properly.
That's exact. It does feel weird. You're trying to do half and half, but you only have 8 episodes. So every episode has to carry some weight of the serialization, or that's what happened last season. The last 2 episodes felt abrupt, not at all linked to everything that had happened before that, right? It's all about this orphan and her mom leaving her, and something happened that night. And then it turns out, no, actually, it's just the dog. It's Sutek, and nothing else matters. You can, if you're gonna do that, you have to. You just shouldn't do that. That's just a bad idea. But if you want to do something like that, you need more episodes, or you just do the honest to God Flux 6 or 8 episode story, right? And you go to different places and you have different characters, but you have
recurring characters. At least you have recurring characters on that. You had Wolf the dog. You had Dave Lister.
I think I'm more in the anthology camp. I think if you have an anthology, but with characters that can show up whenever unexpectedly, I think that's probably better than trying to do a serialized thing. I don't know. Yeah. And like I said, I love the era of the gods, but when it's over, I think it needs to be over. And then I think you need to do a new era. It's not that it wasn't great. It might be great, but it's just
and I think if in order to do a new era, I honestly think the show needs a rest, and I think it's going to get a rest. It might be 5 years, it might be longer than that.
I agree. If it goes, let it rest a long time.
Yeah, give it at least 5 years, maybe.
Here's the question: Do you have to reboot it? Do you have to reboot it when you come back, or is it a continuation?
No, they're going to have an HBO made for HBO movie starring an elderly Jeff Goldblum as the Doctor. he crashes his TARDIS in, I don't know, London, but he's American this time. But he's in London. I don't know.
I almost want to see that. But I don't know. Part of me says, just completely reboot it, because you completely screwed it up with The Timeless Child.
Oh, don't say things like this, JB. When you say completely reboot it, that totally fucks with the whole continuity of Doctor Who that I've been developing in my mind since the 90s.
I know. Okay, but listen, what if we do like a Lungbarrow reset, right? So it's like, it's a wink and a nod. It's reincarnation, but it's like a brand new. The problem is this: it's just a realistic expectation of like new viewers. And are they really going to come in? Like, you can't. Russell T Davies thought he could just call it season 1 on Disney Plus, and that was going to do it. Like, get out of here.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
The viewers understand they're coming in the 15th or 14th season of this show.
That's so fucking entitled. Plus, it might confuse viewers, and they won't be inspired to go back and look at the other 13 or 14 seasons.
Yeah.
Because they may be discovering this on their own for the very first time, and their friends may not be talking about it like we do.
Go ahead. If it's not a reboot, it needs to be like almost like the new series where you don't even talk about it for a year or two. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. I think if you reboot, the possibility for brand new viewers who feel like they're coming in on the ground floor goes up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think you could start with the thing is that if you start with a clean slate, you basically have a Doctor, you have a TARDIS, and that's it. Don't even bring the Daleks back. Just make it completely, just set the tone and make it consistent. Because the one thing I have a problem with is the tone. Because it's like it varies a lot. Like I said, the Robot Revolution. We have Futurama spaceships. We have the big ass like honking robots that were like basically they were the Smile robots mixed with those whatever the fuck those things were on that Narnia ripoff of a Christmas episode.
I see. I thought it looked like that big robot that was after River Song and the husband of River Song.
Oh yeah, that too. We had these lying around the props department here.
That's the other thing. Like, a weekly show that's 48 minutes probably needs to be of a similar tone. But if you leaned the other way and said, this is an anthology, we're doing 90-minute movies, and we're making 6, and by the way, each one is radically different than the other, that works. Like, Black Mirror has wildly different tones between its episodes, right?
Inside Number 9 is another one. Yeah, Black Mirrors, and ironically, they're all written by the same people, and they manage to keep the tone different. And I think RTD does that, to be honest.
Yeah, I just don't know if the fans like it. Is the problem? I think the fans have the tone that they want, and it's the Well, by the way, it's the Well and Lux, but it's not Space Babies. That's the other thing. It's not that there's one tone. It's just that like. There are certain things that fit into Doctor Who, and there's certain ones that don't. And the babies don't, and the goblins don't, and Lux does, because it's weird, right? Doctor Who has to be a little weird. There's something weird about babies.
It has to be scary. It has to be edgy. It has to be scary for it to work for me. If you're being just downright silly, but then trying to give like the serious message, you're throwing me off here. And you can't. What are you trying to do here? I don't understand.
The Goblin musical is a good example because that story was pretty serious up until we got to see the Goblin. And I remember watching it with my mom. It was Christmas time. My mom actually wanted to see it. I'm like, yeah, I want to see it too. And I'm like, oh, this is good. And then as it progressed, you ever show somebody something that you like and then you can't help but criticize it in your head and think what they may be thinking about it?
Yeah, Doctor Who. Every episode of Doctor Who that I've ever shown anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other predictions? Because I'm looking at the story titles. It's The Story and the Engine, The Interstellar Song Contest, Wish World, and The Reality War. I don't know what this is if it's not. I mean,
reality. I mean, that's reality. I mean, I'm still sticking with the Master of the Land of Fiction.
Okay. Because who else could she be that would not be a disappointment? Like I said,
because I mean, that way that gives them an excuse to go and release a colorized 60-minute version of The Mind Robber at Christmas.
You know what?
He's not wrong.
No, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Those people don't even talk to each other. The people doing the animations and the people doing the DVD sets don't talk to each other. They can't get Marco Polo Animated to do a season 1 Blu-ray set because the people are doing the DVDs and the people deciding what episodes to animate don't talk to each other. It's the most insane thing. I was trying to figure out if we can just get them in the same room at Galley 1 because like they're both at Galley 1, like avoiding each other. I don't know. It's crazy.
Oh, speaking of Galley 1,
that's a really good point. I have to tell Steve that because he's holding out from buying any of the Blu-rays until each season is
Yeah, good luck with that. And speaking of Galley 1, speaking of things ending. Galley 1 is the names are numbered. Hard to believe, but I think 2028 is going to be the last one. And Lelon, you were at the last. I mean, I know that you were kind of laid up for most of it there.
I was totally laid up. I think I did 4 hours of convention time.
Oh,
wow! My back. I pulled my back out and I couldn't move. And they just said you have to wait it out.
Shit.
It was still fun. I still saw some people. Like when I say 4 hours of convention time, 4 hours of programming, I made it to the bar a lot.
Okay.
But one
of the best things for a bad back, actually, and I'm for real, but okay.
Yeah. So what was the vibe there?
They just haven't got the numbers since COVID. Like there's just not as you used to go there and it's just packed and the lines for the autographs, like you couldn't move, and it just hasn't quite been the same. They didn't sell out this year. They haven't. I don't think they sold out last year. Do you remember the tickets used to sell out in?
Yeah, like in an hour. Yeah. And
Sean, the year you and I met was my first year, I think, and that was the year that they had the whole disaster with the tickets, and you had to like email a thing at exactly this time to try and get a ticket.
Yes. And, I remember
that's how fast the tickets were selling out.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck, and I don't want to throw around names, but I knew somebody who was able to get me a ticket, if you know what I mean. But that person plus everybody else that works that thing, they've been doing it for fucking years.
Yeah,
and they're tired. They're like, okay,
they're amazing, and they've crushed it, and they crushed it so hard that their names became entangled with the convention brand. So they can't hand it off to anyone because if it doesn't go well, it's going to, their names are inseparable from it. They don't want to hand it off to anyone else.
I'm sorry. I was just
amusing.
What did I say?
No, I was just thinking I was just thinking don't hand it off to Chris Chibnall for fuck's sake. He's just going to get
that's exactly what it is. It's Stephen Moffat handing the show to Chris Chibnall. That's what happens. So they do have plans to hand the convention over to someone else under a completely different name. It would be a for-profit. It's Deal Masters. It's the people who are bringing all the guests there. They would be for-profit, but I think the hope is that they inherit a lot of the infrastructure, volunteer base, that kind of thing, and maybe it keeps going. And you have a Doctor Who convention in February, and you can get the same if you can get the names, and it's the same people volunteering. It's the same people going. Like, is it kind of the same thing? No. Are they going to have karaoke, or is it not the same?
This is not this. It's because I'm thinking of like WizardCon or DragonCon, something like that.
Yeah,
I've been to those because here, we have Austin Comic Con. I'm doing air quotes. It's really just WizardCon. It's a company that puts them on all over the country.
Fan Expo. I think Fan Expo basically bought Wizard World.
Yeah, and Wizard World. That's it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but they can get big names in the door. That's true. But really, when you go to their conventions, they're not going to have it at the Marriott LAX. They're going to have it at the Los Angeles Expo Center. And it's going to feel like you're in a gigantic dealer's room. And you can go upstairs, take the big elevator up there. It's going to take 10 minutes to get up there to see Billy Piper answer, questions from stupid fans. But it's just not going to be the same. It's going to be overcrowded. It's going to be hot. Actually, I'm always hot. But Yeah, I just don't see it. And you're not going to have the bar experience on LobbyCon is a huge thing in Gallifrey as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, if they do that, that would.
I mean, how long are the big box conventions going to last? I mean, not to get political, but it's like things are expensive now, and there's a lot of people don't have the disposable income that they've had before COVID, and now we've got tariffs. Problems here.
My impression of those things that they're just autograph factories. Like
they basically are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You you're 2 seconds with a photo op. I mean, when I did photo ops back in Chicago TARDIS, I mean, you got maybe like a minute or so. I mean, I had the really lovely conversation with Liz Sladen. She commented on my velvet jacket and my frilly shirt, and I told her I dressed like this all the time, and she playfully slapped my hand. And I still get goosebumps thinking about that. But you don't get that in these big box conventions. And Chicago. I guess Chicago TARDIS is still going. I mean, for a while, Chicago TARDIS. I mean, I think during the pandemic, it was a virtual convention. But I mean, and Chicago TARDIS. I mean, it was originally Visions. It was basically the same setup that they had with the big 20th anniversary, where they had like all the doctors and like a lot of the companions showed up in Chicago. I mean, the Five Doctors had its premiere in Chicago. The local, PBS station showed it that week.
WTTW.
Yeah.
On the anniversary date. I mean, BBC got it like 2 days later, and they were all pissed.
Dude, they're so mad that it airs at midnight in America because it's like it's terrible. And I thought the previous time was fine, right? It was like Sunday night in UK. It was like Sunday morning here or something. I thought that was fine, but man, it's so nice to like watch Doctor Who at midnight on and watching it live. It's so good.
Well, midnight for you because you're on the West Coast. It's 2 a.m. for me and Sean.
Oh, sorry. The Switch 2 pre-orders were midnight Eastern, which was 9 for me, which really helped me out in getting one.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we still have Chicago Con, and then we still have LI Who, right? Those are both still going strong. They probably get stronger.
So.
They probably get stronger as a result of this.
I think
I was not going to go next year. Like I had already. It's so like.
Oh, it is. Oh,
it's the tickets, the hotel, and it's so expensive. And but now that we only have a few left, I'm probably going to buy a ticket and then drive up 1 or 2 days. So I won't stay there, but I'll try and see people because I think a lot of people who stopped going are going to come back one more time. Maybe not, at some point in the night. That's why they gave us. It's cool that they gave us a warning too.
It might be me. Yeah,
I know, dude. I will make sure I'm there when you're there. And I'm definitely going to try to go to the last one because that's probably going to be a blowout. Okay, so Doctor Who's back, official. This is what if the rest of the season is this strong and then it gets canceled? Like, is that not a gut punch? Like,
I think
it's almost meaner than the alternative.
No, I think it's the best way to go. If you're going to go with a bang. Don't go in a whimper.
Oh, interesting. I definitely think you go out swinging. But I don't know.
It's just like I'm not expecting the two-part finale to be good because Russell T just cannot stick the landing at all.
Yeah, he really can't.
But I mean, if he can stick the landing and no more Doctor. I mean, even if they were going to make a third season, we're not going to see it in like 2 years anyway, 2 or 3 years because it takes so goddamn long to make.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really annoying that they're making them. That is what makes me lean towards it's not happening.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
But I think if you're gonna go, don't go out with a whimper. You may not go out with a bang, but if you go something like, okay, that was a decent showing. At least you tried. And at least, I mean, it's gonna be basically like Sylvester McCoy. You had some decent scripts. They weren't. I mean, the production wasn't that great. But you had Cartmel and his crew of writers actually doing something new to the program.
His crew of anarchists.
Yeah. And it's just go out with a roar.
Yeah.
And that's the best way for this show for this show to be put to rest, and then give it 5 years, maybe 10, and then the next generation of writers who will hopefully have watched some classic Who along with modern Who will take the reins, because I don't think they have anyone lined up at all. I think,
and if they did, it's not who I want, because I just want someone totally different. I want someone the exact opposite.
I think they're laying the groundwork. They're letting the fans know through the dialogue that this is going to be it.
How can you send the show off? We're not going to get a series finale because he didn't know that it was ending. So we're going to get a season finale, and maybe it doesn't have like a cliffhanger or whatever, but like, it's going to be like last scene in Survival.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Shooty, come over to the sound booth here. We got to like record some dialogue here.
You don't want to blow out series finale, bring back everyone.
But the thing, yeah, I know. But the thing is, it's like if you're going to put it to there's a big difference between canceling a show outright and putting it to rest. So if you're putting it to rest, you find a stopping point, which will be the end of the gods.
Okay,
storyline.
But you're saying if it's a long rest, I think you send the show out and let people know it's not coming back for a while.
Yeah, well, people are media aware. They're not gonna announce it on the show. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go away for a while. They're not gonna do that. I hope it's not like a big, throwing everything but the kitchen sink and then throwing the kitchen sink. I hope it's not that.
Stop it. It will be. Stop it.
If they do a third season and they tell him it's his last, I actually don't know. That's actually what I want to see. I
don't think there's a third season. I think they only contracted for 26, or was it? Yeah. How many, whatever episodes, 2 seasons and 2 specials. And they have nothing. I mean, RTD says that he's written some scripts, but I just don't buy that.
Look,
anything in concrete.
These episodes are going to generate buzz. And if there's a few more like this, people are going to go back and watch the whole thing.
But it's going to be too little too late. It's too little too late. The viewing numbers aren't there.
No, but I'm saying, like, the viewing numbers don't matter. If twice as many people go back and watch it in the next 6 months to a year, they'll make a third season. That's what streaming's all about. It's you find the audience, and then the subsequent seasons where you make the money.
I'm not convinced. I think there's too many people that are jaded. There are too many people who are like, I'm not going to, they're not coming back. I mean, there's so many Doctor Who podcasters out there that are like us. They're not podcasting about this all year round anymore. Yeah. Because it's like we've talked the show to death. We've talked about everything. We have outliers like RF, Radio Free Scaro. For God's sake, just end the show already. Because it's like, my God, it's just like, how long can you fucking keep this up? I mean, even Verity. I mean, Verity's taking a break. Reality Bomb is like, I don't think it's been back for almost a year now. I mean, 2 Minute Time Lord, he comes. I mean, I think he's come back. I mean, for him, it's easy. I mean, 2 Minute Time Lord is like the easiest fucking show to record because it's only 2 goddamn minutes. But I mean, this podcast, like I said, after the end of the season, I mean, we're going to be taking a break. We've got some plans to do something. I'm not going to say what they are just yet, but it's time for a change.
Oh, brother, I'm a buzzboy. Uh-oh, time to hit the old silk. Geronimo! Under a spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands. The smith mighty, the man is famous, strong and sinewy. Hands! All right, enough is enough. This is the final, the very, very last straw. Who is responsible for this? I demand that you show yourself. Who are you? Huh? Ain't I a stinker?
Direction point! Direction point!
A Doctor Who podcast network.